Okay, it is Car Con Carne. I'm James Van Osdol. This is my podcast. Welcome to it. The podcast is right here in my car. To my right, it is Colin Peterik. Colin Peterik is a musician. He's a songwriter. He's a studio wizard. He is headlining City Winery on Randolph Street right here in the big city of Chicago on Tuesday night, Tuesday the 5th?
April 5th.
Fantastic.
That's right.
Headlining.
Yes.
That's a big deal.
Big deal. I'm excited.
So before we talk about that, before we talk about your excellent new album, and there's so many sonic nuances to it that I want to dive in, I should mention previously on Car Con Carne, your father was in the front seat.
Yeah.
Your father, Jim Peterik, a local legend. Mm-hmm. Were you aware he was a legend growing up, or was he just dad?
He was just dad. I didn't really know it any other way until, we'd always go out for dinner and, people would stop us for autographs and pictures, and we would get glaring looks from my mom. And so I kind of knew things were different, but I got used to it pretty quick.
Jim Peterik, Ides of March, Survivor, all those 38 special hits. All right, so we've had your dad. Tonight we have you, Colin Peterik. After this, are we done? Any more family members? Are we covered?
Unless you want to talk to my wife, who's a great dental implant salesman at Clear Choice, then I think we're pretty much covered.
I know nothing about dental implants.
Well, if you want to learn, you should have her on. She's great. Meredith Peterik. Clear Choice. You get a discount if you mention Car Con Carne. No, I'm just kidding.
That's the mark of a good podcaster. If you have a promo code,
right?
That's the sign of success.
There you go.
All right, so City Winery, which is a lovely place.
It is.
Tuesday night. You're headlining your new album, your debut album, Everything and Nothing. Let's talk about that.
Sure.
To me, this sounds like something that could have easily been released in 1978. There's definitely a 70s vibe and feel to this.
Absolutely.
Is that your sweet spot, or is this something you explored specifically for this album?
I think it's kind of my sweet spot. I'm kind of obsessed with the 70s and the 60s. Some of my favorite bands are Steely Dan, Genesis, the Beatles, the Zombies, all these great Baroque pop bands from the late 60s, Pink Floyd, and progressive and jazz rock from the 70s, and kind of all merged together with some of my current favorite bands like Ween, My Morning Jacket, Lana Del Rey, kind of with the current pop sensibilities, and kind of weave it all together, and that's what we came up with.
Because listening to this album, right out of the gate, you've got Smile, which has almost this yacht rock groove to it, which is different from all the bands you just described.
Right. Well, Steely Dan a little bit, but...
A little bit.
Yeah.
They had their yacht rock moments.
They did.
Like maybe circa Gaucho.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or even Asia.
Yeah.
I love that stuff too.
Me too.
Is that a guy thing?
Yes. Yeah, if you go to a Steely Dan show, you will not see very many women.
No, I feel like more women were coming to Rush by the end, and they were always the barometer for dude music, but I think Steely Dan is the new barometer.
Steely Dan is the kings of dude rock.
Another song that I just adore on this album is Cocaine Nights. Because, I'm no stranger to the Cocaine Nights.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Catchy hook. This is your club song.
Yeah.
This is your everyone on the floor sort of thing. Tell me about this one.
So this song is kind of just it's just me kind of experimenting with, music has this awesome ability to be able to transport people to a different place and a different time. And I love music that can do that. You close your eyes and you feel like you're in a different place. And Cocaine Nights, you close your eyes and you imagine being at a late night party, and drinks are flowing, people are handing you stuff, and you're not asking too many questions, and you're just letting the night kind of take you away. And so, I don't condone the use of illegal drugs, but this song kind of is like an escape song.
I was going to ask. I mean, I have a certain amount of charming naivete when it comes to that stuff in the music scene. Is there a lot of that going around?
A lot of what?
Cocaine, drugs, backstage.
I think it's. I mean, at the level I'm at, we're backstage. We're texting our wives. We're FaceTiming with the kids. But we're trying to keep it cool. We're trying to keep it clean. And officially, don't do drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs. There's your lesson from Colin Peterik.
That's
right. The video fits the song perfectly. Do you like doing video stuff?
I do. Yes, it was definitely a thing where I had to get out of my comfort zone. I was, a year ago today I had no content. I had a great album, but no videos. And I'm like, man, I just want to put this album out. I don't want to do any videos. I don't want to do any social media. And then I got a manager involved, and he's like, listen, you got to do the social media. You got to do the videos. I'm like, so kind of just stepping out of the comfort zone, getting into the swing of things with the, with the public appearances and the videos. And eventually, yes, it's a lot of fun. I got used to it. We've done 5 videos now, and every time we do it, it's more fun and more successful.
I've said this before, Colin, and I believe it. I feel like we are at the cusp of what could be a video renaissance. I think the pandemic allowed that to happen when artists couldn't tour, couldn't perform. This other avenue of expressing your creation. I think it's something that a lot of artists should be, and probably are at this point, tapping into more.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, a lot of stuff changed with the pandemic. Lots of pivoting, lots of live streams, and people had to figure out ways to make money other than going out on the road.
Right.
And it involved the audiences a lot more like direct engagement with fans. And every time you can directly engage with fans, you earn a lifetime fan. So I think the smart artists and the smart creators were able to capitalize on that.
At the very end of the album, there's Michiana. Tell me you're Midwestern without telling me you're a Midwestern. That's that song right there.
Yes. Yeah.
And this is, going back to that 70s vibe. It's soft rock with those disco horns.
Yeah.
It is a moment. It is a very evocative.
Yeah. I call that song my my Pocket Symphony, because it's really concise. It's like 3 minutes and 30 seconds, but there's a 8-piece string part and horns and a choir and drums, vocals, guitars, shakers, background vocals. It's really I think a gem of a song on the album, and I love that it closes out the album. But I really like that song. It's really special to me, and I love the chord changes and the lyrics. And we did a video for it in Michigan City by the nuclear cooling tower. Kind of a cool vibe. You can go check that out on YouTube.
Yeah, the video opens with the Wurlitzer.
Yeah,
just it sets
on the beach,
tone.
and I had to carry the Wurlitzer up the dunes. By the way, so I was paying for that the next day.
I bet you were. How much, speaking of Michiana and the dunes, how much does your environment inform your songwriting, like being a Midwesterner, being in and around Chicago and this landscape?
100%. I always, usually, I'll go on like road trips and I'll write, if I go to like Nevada or something, I'll write a song about Nevada. Like, it's just, you take in, being a songwriter, the world is your office, so everything that goes through my mind is dictated by my surroundings, and that's why I love to travel. When I was a kid, I used to travel around the Midwest with my skateboard and just like look for skate parks. Like, I'd go to Louisville, Kentucky, just drive there and skate in the middle of the night, and drive home and work on lyrics. And so yeah, it's a big part of it. And my parents had a place in Michigan. We would go up ever since I was a kid. I have some great memories, and kind of diluting all those memories into a song. That's what Michiana is.
Got it. Now, I knew that you'd said that the skate culture had kind of led you to where you are now. And of course, I hear that and I listen to your music, and I was trying to make a connection there, but it's more of the spirit than it is the sound.
Yeah, I think when I was a kid, like, my first love was skateboarding. I wanted to be a professional skateboarder, and then I kind of realized that you can get girls with music too, and it's less dangerous. So I moved on to music.
So it is true that some people go into music for girls.
Yeah,
it's not.
I think most of them do.
Not the creative satisfaction.
No, it's the girls.
It's for the
in high school, right? These are the formative years. How do you separate yourself out? You're not gonna, you got to do something to stand out.
When did you start playing? Was it that early?
8th grade, I started playing keyboards. Formed my first, band. It was just like a joke of a band. We were called the Mike Hancock 7. There were 5 of us, and nobody in the band was named Mike Hancock. So
that's really great. Honestly, that would work in the present day.
Yeah. So that was the first group, and then high school, I got more serious. Got together with some guys that were more serious. We formed a progressive rock band called Lobster Newberg. We did 2 albums.
That's so bougie.
It was. I love the name, Lobster Newberg. Actually, you can check it out. I think some of our stuff is still online. ProgArchives.com did a bunch of reviews on us and stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because that community is so tight knit.
It is. So you never. How did you rebel as a child? Because obviously, what you could have done growing up, you're going to rebel against your dad. I'm not going to make music. I'm going to be an attorney.
Yeah.
Did you rebel in other ways?
No, I think I wanted to be a skateboarder more than I wanted to be a musician. But I was not the best student. Like, I remember, and I was like, I'm a smart ass. I'm kind of so I'd get like a bad grade in 8th grade, and I'd have to take it home to get my parents to sign it.
Yep.
And I forged the signature, got caught. My dad confronted me, and I remember he said, I told him, Dad, consider this a learning moment.
Oh, you said that to him.
And he's like, no, I'm supposed to say that to you. So I've kind of always been, too smart for my own good. But no, I was a pretty good kid growing up, and my dad and and my mom have a great relationship, and he's my number one fan, number one supporter.
I love hearing that.
It's all good. Yeah.
So how does it feel to put everything together and put it in album form, like finally get it out there in the universe?
It's surreal. I had all these songs floating around my head pre-pandemic, and I thought, hey, I'm in this Steely Dan band, which is doing well. I'm kind of fulfilled with my life right now, but pandemic happened, 2020, lockdowns. I'm like, I have so much material and I have nothing to show for it. So I'm going to piece together all my best stuff. I'm going to finish these kernels of ideas. I'm going to compile an album that I can be proud of. And that's over the next year and a half. That's exactly what happened. Teamed up with Craig Bauer, amazing mixer, who had a studio here in Chicago, Hinge Studios. Now he's in Denver. And he's mixed Kanye West, Ed Sheeran, Lupe Fiasco. He's won Grammys. And he was kind of put the finishing touch on all the songs and the stamp of approval. He made it sound the way it sounds right now.
Yeah, I feel like he knows what he's doing.
He does. He's a good guy. Golden ears.
But you're also a studio guy. I mentioned that. I mean, so you kind of know who to recruit and enlist to polish off your songs.
Yeah. And I could have mixed the album myself, but I felt like I was too close to it.
Yeah.
I wanted somebody to have an outside influence on it, and be honest and tell me if something didn't work, or if they wanted to change something. I wanted that influence.
I think that's a really important thing for artists, is having that kind of neutral opinion, like someone who doesn't have that much of a stake in it, who can like take that higher view of everything and say, actually, if you do X, Y, and Z, this might be a better approach.
Absolutely. Yeah, and he was able to do that, and we would talk on the phone every day and he was so into the project. I think I sent him the song Jack and Jill, which is track 2 on the album, which is very Steely Dan inspired, and he was blown away by it, and he's like, dude, let's do this. He had some time last year, and he knocked it out of the park, frankly.
So knowing that you are, the 70s are a decade that speak to you, that's a period of music that resonates with you. Talk to me about how that applies to putting out an album. I mean, are you going to put this out on vinyl? Are you going to 8-track?
Vinyl, yes, but the thing is, there's a great vinyl plant here in Chicago. I think it's called
Smash Plastic.
Smash Plastic, yes. And I just reached out to them, and they're currently a 36-week turnaround time with all these supply chain issues. So I'm working on it. It's gonna happen for sure. But streaming happens overnight, so it's definitely going to be out streaming. June 12th is the official release date. It'll be available everywhere. We've already got 4 singles from the album out on Spotify.
Right.
Working on some new videos now.
That's why I'm always hesitant in a situation like that to go too deep into an album that people can't listen to.
Yeah.
So talking about the stuff that's available on video and Spotify feels like that's safe. And maybe once the record comes out, the album, once it's released, we can do this again and go a little bit
It's a good idea.
deeper. So it's not like, hey, it's April. In a couple months, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. Just remember this conversation.
Yeah.
Refer back to this when the time comes. So owning a studio, are you a gear nerd? Is that a hobby?
Yeah, I love microphones. I drool over microphones and preamps and stuff like that. Yeah, I've got one of the. Actually, this is the mic I use on stage.
It's really the Sennheiser?
Sennheiser, yeah. And I prefer it to the SM58.
All right.
But that's a great mic too. But to be honest, the gear is cool, but I just like it to be simple. Plug in, set up a mic, and record the idea before it leaves my brain. So I really value just simplicity, streamlined approach, because if you can't capture the idea before it's gone, then what's the point of even having a studio?
Totally agree. So again, Tuesday night, City Winery, headlining.
Yeah.
How do you approach something like that?
Well, rehearsal, promo, rehearsal, promo.
But I'm sure you're excited.
I'm very excited. Yes.
Do you drink wine before the show?
No, I'm going to be sober as a judge. After the show, I might have a couple beers, maybe a martini.
I think you will have earned it.
I think I'll have earned it. Yeah.
All right, and again, the album comes out in June. We can see you live on stage, which feels great to say. It feels great to sit here with you, Colin, talk about live performances in Chicago.
No masks.
Yes.
We're doing this.
Yeah. I'm vaxxed. I'm boosted.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good.
Feeling good.
Yeah. That is Colin Peterik. If you're watching or listening to this prior to the evening of the 5th, April 5th, it's Tuesday night, go see him at City Winery, which is a lovely place to go just in general. Awesome to see live music there. Colin, headlining, performance, see him there, and then, of course, the album comes out in June. I love what you're doing, and again, this album could have been released in 1976, 1977. No one would be the wiser.
No.
That's what I love about it. I've been waiting for someone to do something like what you did here, and you did it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right, this is Colin Peterik. Thank you for watching and listening. Go support Colin Peterik.